All right, drivers in the U.S. are breathing a small sigh of relief as the nationwide average price for gas has fallen below $4 per gallon for the first time since March. Average price is now sit at $3.99 per gallon after hitting a record high of over $5 per gallon in June. And Brad, like we just mentioned, do not discount how much the market absolutely loves to hear this. Of course, there is the consumer angle. This is major. This is millions and millions of dollars in relief to American households, those households that were not spending as much in the second quarter at a Walmart, at a Target because of high gas prices. They have now pulled back. They now have more discretionary income, but also for companies. Yeah. Those companies like a Walmart operating these big giant trucks, diesel prices coming back, good for their profits too.
You know, the other element of this too, think about an Uber and a Lyft, where you've got those companies for the drivers that, and the operating model, they've looked at gas prices and said, yeah, we're probably just going to have to pass that through to the consumer anyway. That's going to be reflected in their prices. And so for Uber and Lyft, that lowering of the gas prices, or gas prices coming down, or at least back into kind of an approachable level, if you will, I think all of that has a much larger implication on where people are going to be more comfortable getting back into that Uber or Lyft experience. Don't look now, but I mean, since late July, the last week of July, Uber shares, they've moved up by about 45% from some of those late July levels that we've seen as well. And so that's something to keep a close eye on here, and how gas prices also play into that ride-sharing model as well.
Yeah, and look, at the top of the show, we were talking about certain sectors that, have done well versus the lows. One of them that has relatively underperformed from change is energy. I believe off the June lows, the energy sector of the S&P 500 only up close to 3%. Why? Because we're now seeing this pullback, and you can see it on that chart there. We're now seeing that pullback in energy prices, and suddenly these great quarters from Exxon, Chevron, Occidental that we saw really in the second quarter, a little bit in the first quarter, but mostly the second quarter, you have to wonder, was that peak good? Is it as good as it got for oil companies in the second quarter? In the second half of the year, maybe the street is just a little too optimistic.
Well, one person that's been extremely optimistic on Occidental, we do know, is Warren Buffett, who's continued to add on.
He's investing for the next 500 years.
Well,
500 years.
Unless he comes across Tony Stark's arc reactor, seeing those 500 years.
You think he's bullish on She-Hulk? I think he likes She-Hulk.
He's got to, right? Why not?
I like She-Hulk.
Warren Buffett, pro and
Let us know,
bullish
Warren.
on She-Hulk.
Hit me up. Send me a text.